Hi students, we are going to stick with the shorter video format. One thing I will do more and more is walk you through everything that I'm thinking about when I answer the questions and not just the tips that I use to confirm the answer. Please pause the video and try the real question at least once before you listen to my explanation. The topic for today is how there's only really 3 question types on the digital SAT reading writing. This is in terms of what we need to be looking for and how we need to think about a problem, like how do we structure it when we start it in the first place. The skills that are important, the things we want to look for, can really be divided into 3 categories. They are vocab, grammar, and logic. For vocab, you kind of have to know the meaning of the words, but that helps us because we can throw away all the grammar, all of the details and logic part of our mindset and really focus on synonyms and context. With grammar, we can forget about their names, stuff like that, and really focus on whether the sentence is legal, aka whether it's an allowable sentence by the SAT when we look at those punctuation, aka boundaries questions. And in the same way, we just have to look at if the modifier or verb agrees with the noun or subject in the other type of grammar question. There's not a ton of need to think about logic, whereas in the other 60% of the test, 70% of the test, we really want to get in the habit of understanding it's about logic and attention to detail. There is no such thing as a science question on the SAT Digital. It is just a graph with a claim, and the English and the details are what's important. Inspired by true events on movie screens, I am a one-man wrecking machine. So this is the first question. It's obviously a vocab question, but just to establish a habit, every time you see a new problem, you want to read the exact wording of the question itself. So here we're pretty sure it's just a vocab question. We know what this sentence is going to say. It says the same thing every time. We see 4 different words and a blank to fill. So this is a pure vocab question. And we know that we're supposed to be looking for synonyms or this idea, some sort of clue in the passage. Here, a word that really sticks out to me is this word right here, while. While, more, less, these sort of comparisons, these sort of negative sentence modifiers tend to be really key in finding the synonym or idea we're trying to think about. So I'm already on the lookout here. Once we get to the actual blank, we realize that incapable goes against this coral's ability to produce offspring. So we're looking for something that's kind of opposite in general. That's really the hint that they're getting at. There's no exact synonym in this one. They're just looking for a word that seems to mean going against. And it's hard to know all the meanings of every word, but you can see that hypothesis doesn't fit, affinity doesn't fit, and corroboration doesn't fit. If you don't know what this word means, this one means something like to corroborate a story is to support a story or to verify it. That's not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is anomaly. Anomaly means something that's out of the ordinary. Here's the second question. We are going to stay in that habit of establishing what question this is, what type of question this is, even if it's obvious. So this is a grammar question, and it's a grammar question having to do with subject, verb, or subject modifier agreement. This is not a boundaries question. So instead of thinking about whether the end and the beginning is a complete sentence or incomplete phrase, you know, the things we do on a boundary question, here we are zoned in and locked in on subject-verb agreement in terms of tense, aka past and present, and in terms of plurality, aka is the subject that we're trying to find the verb for, is the subject singular or plural. For what it's worth, these 3 answer choices are all plural, and this one's singular. Now, I'm not saying to just answer the question that way. All I'm saying is my mind is already thinking about that fact because I've already established this is about subject-verb agreement, and I have 3 plural verbs and 1 singular verb. So we go back to the passage, and since there's a period here, this entire first sentence is completely useless. We're not even going to have to read it. And we're looking for the subject of this blank. And if you take the time and go through it and really think about it, you will realize that the survey is the subject here. not her, not forests, not species, even though this is pretty close and they're trying to trick you with that. It needs to be a singular verb. And we can double check our answer because this is the only singular option. We can make sure that it was in the past because it's a was form. So that implies that it took place in a past tense. In the 1970s, emerged. So see how we have a timeline and we have other verbs that are in the past? That kind of helps us confirm our answer that we initially figured out due to the singular plural matchup. Now we've confirmed it due to it being the correct tense. Okay guys, here is the third question type. Most questions are going to fall into this category, and as soon as we know we're not dealing with a vocab or a grammar question, our mindset should immediately go towards thinking about the very specific things the question is asking and the details. That attention to detail is what we need to be thinking about immediately. Here, we can already tell that there's info in the question, and it's this Zhang's claim, so that we're already focused on that. We will read the whole passage. I'm just trying to help you understand what order to read it in, and it's not straight down. So we'll read the claim, and we're already focused on these highly distinct traditions. I'll be going a little fast today. We could talk about a lot of aspects of this question, but I encourage you to try this question out and then see how the explanations make sense. So here, once we zone in on this person's claim, and that's another tip, you should just be thinking scientist 1, scientist 2, author 1, author 2, whatever. These names are just meant to distract you. And honestly, if you know something about the subject, it's probably more likely to distract you. So try to zone all that out. It's BS information meant to take away your focus and take you away from the logic. If we think about his claim and start predicting an answer, we would predict that the two, not going to pronounce them, the two music types are not like each other, which A basically says. So I'm already thinking A might be a decent answer choice. For B, it's kind of irrelevant. More popular is not what we're talking about, so it can't be B. C is interesting where it almost supports the claim prior to this. Go back and look at it. This sentence right here is being supported by C, not the Su Zhang's claim itself. So it's not C. That's not the answer to this question. And D is interesting. It actually probably goes against his claim, because here it's saying that the traditions aren't really distinct. They're like each other, and that they are only distinct from the English-speaking nation. So it's almost adding to the diversity. This weakens his argument, so it's not D. And once you do select an answer, always go back through and check the logic. So I encourage you to do that here. But you'll see that based on our prediction and for the reasons we just talked about, to eliminate B through D, the answer choice will be A. Okay, till next time.